Hi, I'm Gail Simmons, and I'm at Haven's Kitchen, one of my favorite places to cook in New York City, and I'm gonna make for you today my mom's famous Hanukkah latkes. The most important thing about a latke are the potatoes. I've peeled them and quartered them, and I'm gonna shred them in a food processor. Now, this is a bit of a point of contention. A lot of people use a cheese grater to grate their latkes, but that makes an entirely different consistency. The kind of latke I want is a really light, airy, and shredded, crispy latke. So instead, I'm gonna use the food processor with the grating attachment. I've also put in here 1 yellow onion, which is really gonna add to the flavor of the latke. Once you have all your shredded potatoes and onions and dump them into a strainer, you're gonna let them sit over the bowl for about 5 to 8 minutes to let some of that moisture and starch run out the bottom. And now I'm gonna add the other ingredients. I have 2 eggs lightly beaten, a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, a 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour, a big pinch of salt, sort of a coarse salt like a kosher salt, maybe 2 pinches or 3. And finally, my mom's secret ingredient, 3 big heaping tablespoons of fresh chopped dill. Now I'm gonna just mix it all in together and make sure that it's blended well. Once you've mixed it all together, you're gonna let it sit for another 5-6 minutes just to let the last pieces of that excess moisture drain out, and then it's time for frying. The whole point of a latke is to use oil. It is the festival of light, and we're using this oil to remember that time. So I have a big, shallow pan, the biggest I can find, on medium heat, and I'm gonna add my oil and make sure it gets nice and hot. I'm using enough oil to coat about a 1/4 inch up the side of the pan. To test if your oil's hot enough, take a little strand of potato and drop it right in. If it sizzles, your oil's ready to go. So I have a big tablespoon. I'm gonna use it to make my latkes just like this, squeezing out a bit of the excess liquid, forming sort of a flat disc on the spoon. And then I'm just gonna slide each latke right into the pan. Make sure that there's enough space between them so that they fry up and the edges get golden brown. You can hear that sizzle. That means that the temperature is right and they're gonna cook really nice and crispy. You wanna make sure that they're really golden before you flip them. You don't wanna flip them too early or they will still be raw. All right, time to flip them over. Ah, beautiful. See how golden brown that is on this side? Really even and really crispy on the edges. You can fry them in batches, adding oil if needed and replenishing it so that the oil doesn't burn too much as well. And once you've been able to cook all the batches through, set them on a sheet tray covered in paper towel to absorb some of the excess oil, and then they're ready to serve. Now, depending on how big you make them, my latke recipe makes about 25 to 40 latkes. You can serve them with traditional sour cream and applesauce, or if you want to make them a little bit fancier, dollop just a little bit of sour cream on top, a little piece of smoked salmon, and then finish with an extra little sprig of the dill. And there you have it, my mom's famous latke recipe, which I have been enjoying my entire life. Thanks so much and happy Hanukkah.